Two small fans. Yes, I have. Hey guys, what's up? For Weebs of the Ring episode 30. How we all doing today or tonight? We here for the Stampede time. And you know what that is? For tonight's show, episode 30. It is the semifinals of the King of the Ring. We had the Yeet versus the General, the future king. Maybe, perhaps we'll find out this Saturday at the PLE. You know, I don't even know the time that's going to be happening in PLE. I'm shocked that they haven't repeated it for the past couple weeks. It's like they're slacking. They're not doing their job right because they're not telling the time. It's like, yo, where's Tiffy time? It's not happening. But then we get live over here versus Io Sky. How did it go? How did it happen? The wings have spread. She has flown. And after that, our weekly stories, we have the Battle of the Alpha Academy, Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable, round 3. Some things happened, some turmoil. Some people got kicked out of the ring, say you ain't doing your job. But some people did, but then felt guilty. But Chad maybe felt he believed it. Let's see what happens this weekend. Braun Breaker literally destroyed, put a man in the goddamn ambulance, put them out of the commission. Judgment Day, things are a bit wonky. Let's see what's going on there. Becky Lynch and Liv promo, we're going to talk about it. We have some mixed feelings. Let's discuss it. And the match of the night, we had a quadruple, a fatal 4-way for the number 1 contender for the women's tag team belt. You know, honestly, guys, I totally forgot about that. It's like solely like out of my head. You know, drop is time sometimes kind of right about that. Like, yo, people be forgetting about that. I be forgetting about that. But you know what should we forget about that? It's time for the effing show.
Oh, how's it going, everybody? That's right. Your favorite 3 weebs are here to talk to you about wrestling. For you see, we have anime in our souls, and we also have thoughts of wrestling out of control. And as I just said, we're a trio of weebs to bring you the wonderful entertainment known as professional wrestling. So allow us to be the voices inside of your head as we go through the wrestling event of the evening, give our thoughts and predictions on what's to come, and provide an experience inclusive to all nerds. Grab your steel chairs, yell for the table, and get put through an experience like none other. Brought to you by AniMa W3 Studio. This is the Weebs of the Ring podcast, and it has been what feels like ages since we have had all 3 of us here as your panelists, as your hosts, and all that. And I am so happy to be back with the Yeet, as I am Watkins, and continuing his revenge tour. We have Legend D Vash, and we have, of course, Drop This Box coming out of nowhere with a spear just myrtleizing people like Ricochet. Like, Drop, how could you do that to Ricochet? Like, why would you do that to Ricochet?
He just had it coming. I was the bull, he was the red little blanket.
Yo, the thing that I felt bad for Ricochet is that I literally saw a tweet or thread this past weekend literally saying the times that Ricochet died. I'm like, yo, Adam Pearce or the writing team literally must have seen this tweet or thread. Let's say, hey, can we add something else to this list where Ricochet died? Because literally I tweeted at this man like, yo, can we let this man live? He has a whole suit and tie. And looking nice, and then getting speared out of nowhere. I'm like, yo, Samantha must have seen this shit. She's like, why did you gotta do this to my husband? Why you gotta do this to my man? He's just looking good out here and getting speared.
I will say this though, at least it gets him into an actual feud with somebody, and I'm talking to like Braun Breaker. Because for like the past couple weeks, he's just been into squash match and squash match and squash match.
Well, yeah, we've been into it, but
the only like difference with tonight is that I actually liked how they orchestrated it. But at least with them teasing Braun and Ricochet, okay, we can get a great match out of that. Now that people can actually see what Braun Breaker is capable of.
But yeah, we'll dive more into that here as we continue on through our show. But guys, how are we doing tonight? Again, I had mentioned it's been a hot minute since all 3 of us have been around.
I think almost a month or at least 3 weeks because of me moving and everything. So I've been gone, and then last week, it's just shit happened. So it's good to be back. I'm glad that we're here. Vash is going to continue to be eating on stream, so that's going to happen. Hopefully, he's done with his
Yay.
meal before the first hour of the show. My green screen is a bit wonky, guys, so we're going to deal with it until I get a light. Other than that, it's good to be back. It's good to be discussing about Monday Night Raw. I saw 80% of the show tonight, so I'm glad to at least not see the full 100% of the show, but at least saw 80%. So I'm here to discuss, be wrong, opinionated, and also fight.
Yeah.
Look, there won't be much fighting tonight because the Yeet went down, which, you know what? Again, I'm back on the Yeet now. I'm
just
the
happy
Yeet train,
that it was a good match. It was a good match for both of them, and it was entertaining. They gave his all. And I love how Jay is proving people like, yes, he only got 2 moves, but he's showing the entertaining and he's showing the hustle. He's showing that he can do more than just that. Like, even though it looks like it, but he's doing more. So I really love that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I agree. So, yes, chat, let's go ahead and just kind of dive right into the show right now. So, again, chat, hopefully you guys are having a good night. I know it's late for a lot of us, but hey, it's all good. We're here to talk about the grass. We're here to have some fun. But if you're watching later on, the VOD and all that, make sure you let us know in the comments your thoughts and opinions about Raw. We would love to hear from you and talk with you and just interact with you about this awesome. Well, it was an all right show. I wouldn't say it was awesome, but it was all right. So let's kind of just start ahead with our good old King of the Ring semifinal matches. We had started talking right here about our main event, which was Jey Uso versus Gunther, and yeah, this was a really good match. Very hard hitting from Gunther, but how we feeling about everything? Gunther's moving on to the finals and either facing Randy or Tama Tonga. How we feeling about everything?
I would say not being involved in the past couple of weeks about the King of the Ring. I just want to say that with Gunther winning, I definitely know it's going to be Randy winning this Friday for sure. Because I'm happy about that. Because a lot of people was, JD online and a few other wrestling community content creators and ourselves. We were hoping this was not a bloodline story intertwining all into the King of the Ring story, and that's something that we didn't want. Like, hey, let the story be what it is meant to be. Bloodline, let it cook like it's meant to be. We're still boiling water. If anybody doesn't know the joke, the inside joke, go on Friday. You'll find out what the joke meant. But I'm really glad that how the match went. I love the promo that happened prior. I think it's the first time we ever saw a promo with Gunther with nobody in the ring and him giving a little backstory type of segment. So that's pretty cool to see.
I think the last time we saw something similar to that was
when Sami was giving his underdog story, right?
Yeah, like right before Mania and all that. So it is a good effect too. Just like, especially with Gunther just kind of like walking down the stairs like that. I thought it was placed really very well, and of course his line delivery. Like Gunther's been like just growing so well with his promo work, especially as of late too. Like he was very intense, and I'm not gonna lie, there was also a part of me that thought, oh, he's giving this kind of promo right now. Is Jay actually gonna win? Oh no, is he actually? But my thoughts were eased as the night went on. But Drop, how'd you feel about this main event match?
I'm honestly satisfied with the outcome because I know me and you've been back and forth about it all day.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm against Jay at all. It's just for the purpose of the story. Because there's like 2 ways I look at wrestling. I look at wrestling as a content creator, and I also look at it from a fan's perspective. Would it be cool for Jay to win? Sure. I love Jay. I have nothing against him. But if I'm looking at it from a content creator, because I do content outside of this as well, and I follow other sources of media, I look at it from the story perspective. What makes the most sense? And like Vash said, and I'm happy he brought that up, I didn't want this turning into a bloodline story, because if Jay won, I felt like they were heading down that direction, because to me, Jay versus Randy doesn't really make any sense. So
Yeah.
more than likely, they would end up doing like Jay and Tama Tonga, because they would probably go back to that moment at Backlash when they saw each other backstage and they just glared at each other. So if they met in the ring, they would just continue that story. And the whole purpose about King of the Ring is about King of the Ring. If you want to make it about Bloodline, you can do that outside of King of the Ring. You don't have to have Jay and Tonga a part of the tournament if you want to continue an ongoing storyline with the Bloodline. That was like the main reason why I was against it, because if they decided to go down that direction with Jay, I felt like that was probably what they were going to do, because if Jay won tonight, you're getting Tonga on Friday, but with Gunther winning tonight, you're more than likely getting Randy, and that in itself is a dream match, and that's honestly going to be one hell of a match that I'm going to have to watch a little bit later, because I'm going to be at a wedding, so I'm going to have to catch that a little bit later in the evening. But I'm really happy the results. It was a good match. I enjoyed it. I'm happy that they got time and it wasn't just, a couple moves here and a couple moves there from the other guy. Like, they actually took some time. They both looked strong coming out of the match. It's not like you expect Gunther to like dismantle everybody that he gets in the ring with, but they actually got a good amount of time. Jay was able to look strong even in defeat. And I'm just happy. Like I said before, this is tailor fit from Gunther. He's already known as the ring general, so it only makes sense to have that title as King of the Ring. It just fits him so well, and you knew straight off the bat Triple H was going to do that. And they got to do something. And also, like, the way that you look at Gunther as well is you got to have him also doing something outside of Mania, because at least with Jay, he could hop into that Bloodline story at any time. Gunther had nothing going for him at the moment besides the King of the Ring tournament. So you can use this to advance Gunther's story, so you could see what happens at like Bash at Berlin later this year. Because more than likely, that's probably going to be an event where Gunther's probably going to get some good shine there. So overall, I'm happy. Very happy.
Yeah. And I think, because you and I, Drop, have been talking a lot about it during this King of the Ring tournament, about like bringing prestige into the tournament and all that. That's kind of why, at least one of us was very, very, very upset about Dragunov losing. But it's fine. It's a week later, but it's whatever. But like having Gunther and Randy, and I will come over up there to New York and drop kick you, sir. But
Sir,
anyways,
I will spear you like Braun Breaker, throw you against the crates.
Look, don't make me bark. All right, Makima already did that enough. Anyways, so where was I? Oh yeah, so legitimacy and all that. So it's like Gunther Randy is going to be a fun match, but I also do want to throw out like Gunther Tama Tonga, because like as cool as as much as of a dream match as it is with Randy and all that, I do at least want to throw out that possibility, because I know we had just gotten off being like, oh, a Bloodline storyline shouldn't be involved in King of the Ring, blah blah blah. Yes. However, it would be kind of a good like little addition to the Bloodline storyline for Tama Tonga to at least make it to the finals. Like, not saying he should win the whole thing, but like even just going to the finals could be enough to be like, look what we're doing as the Bloodline without you, Roman. We're actually kind of having some sort of success without you, even if he doesn't win. But like, then you can kind of tie it in a little bit differently. But like, I know me personally, I would rather the Randy Orton match. I think that would add just that final legitimacy to everything. And yeah.
Another thing I will add on here, since we're on the topic of this, that I've noticed with Gunther's matches ever since the whole tournament begun, and I'm not sure if you guys caught on with this, but I don't know if you guys noticed, but every person that Gunther has been in the ring with so far with these matches, they had some sort of injury going on, and Gunther took advantage of that every single time. Where you had with Kofi, I think he had like a messed up leg, and then he took him out with the Boston Crab, and then
was the neck.
Yeah, and then I think Sheamus also had a leg issue too.
Oh, leg
issue. Because I remember he was because I remember he submitted, because he had him in the Boston Crab as well.
Yeah.
And you also had something going on with Jay's arm. He took advantage of that in this match. What's currently going on at Randy right now?
His back. His old back.
And also that little knee injury he currently has going on.
Oh, yeah.
Storyline wise.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to take advantage of that too.
Oh, yeah.
That's an interesting little like seed I noticed that they've been planting with Gunther.
I mean, after Lyra's selling of her back tonight, which we'll get to that match here in a little bit, but after her selling with the back, immediately I was just thinking, okay, now I need to see Randy selling with his back, because him selling that with Gunther and how vicious Gunther can be. Oh man, there might be some scary spots where we might actually think, "Oh, Randy, are you okay, dude? Are you fine?" Like,
especially with that power bomb that Gunther does.
oh my god, yes.
And he doesn't just do it like once; he does it like
the triple.
1, 2, yeah.
Oh, I hope he busts out the triple. That'll be awesome. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, again, this was a really good match. I'm glad Gunther won. Nothing against Jay or anything, but as we've been saying since day one, this has been Gunther's tournament to win. Keep that dominance going, even though he's not IC champion, but just keep that reign going of him. And eventually he will become King General, and then eventually Champion King General. So again,
but I love what Job said. Is because even if Gunther is not the main key right now as a champion, having him win the King of the Ring and having him be front and center, even not as a champion, like you said, Jay is still main event Jay. Like, he still has the title. He still has the he still is main eventing every night or every Monday Night Raw. So he still is a key factor player of the Monday Night roster. So even if he doesn't win, which he didn't win tonight, Gunther, people need to elevate him where the audience like him as a wrestler, but we need to want him as a promo person, as the mic. Because when you're the champion for the main roster as the WE title or as the World Heavy title, you have to do more press. You have to do more mic work. So you have to get loved by the audience. Like, we love you as a wrestler, but I don't know if a lot of people love him as a mic work, as a promo work person. But right now, like you said, the promo work he did tonight when nobody was there, it was so good. I was captivated. I'm like, damn, okay, my God. You talk to the audience, even with the audience not being there, like, you're grabbing people's attention. So like, it shows that he's either he's taking acting classes, or the writing that he gets, and he does such a good execution on it.
Yeah, he's been getting really good at it. And I think the thing with Jay too, because it's like, and I think I had mentioned this in a couple messages tonight. It's like, because eventually Jay's gonna have to win something as a singles competitor.
Yes.
And right now, like, we're in this spot where it's like, he keeps getting these chances, like chance after chance after chance, but like, he keeps falling short, whether it's from interference or just him falling short. Like tonight, for example, he kind of fell short, even though like there was the ref bump that happened, but it's like Jay just can't seem to win that big one. And I think it's gonna add just more excitement to when he does it, because like, I'm not, at least for me, I'm not at the point now where it's like, okay, he needs to, or his credibility's down, but like, we will eventually get to that point where I don't know if I will, but I know how the internet is. I know how impatient the internet can get.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
they're very impatient.
Oh yeah.
1 month of a certain champion and people are calling him boring.
Yeah.
That could suck my. Yeah, because even even the our next document that our Watkins make, I really want to give a shout out to him, because he says right here, quotation, "Fuck him up, Gunther." AK to Jay. I'm like, damn, why we gotta pull our boy down like that?
Dude, those chops he was doing in the corner, Dude, did you see Jay's chest at one point? Like it was busted open.
I
Like
think I told my girl once, as a joke, or I forgot we were having a conversation, and I told her, like, babe, I think I could last a good 10 15 minutes in the ring. Like, general speaking, like, 10 15 minutes in the ring with somebody. But with Gunther, I'm like, I could last a good 5 minutes. Like,
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
I was
like,
gonna say Gunther.
yeah, like with him, with like Gunther or Braun Breaker, I'll be there 5 minutes. Like, unless I'm trained, then that's different. But if I'm current shape, like my current athletic shape, my ass is gonna be in the ambulance, like the dude that was in the ambulance. I want to give shout out to him, whatever his name, Kale Dixon.
yeah,
I'll be in the ambulance like him. I'll be like, I'm done. I'm just there shivering in the stretcher. My dude Sutton is so good, like he got paid for that night. But Jay, great match, great opportunity. Michael Cole was good in the commentating. He gave good quotes. I don't have them on top of my head, but I love how what you said, Watkins. Before we transition, I do want to say that I love what you said about Jay. Hopefully, he gets the opportunity in the future with either maybe the speed title, maybe the IC title, or something like that mid card, because he's been getting all these opportunities. And if he doesn't win something soon, or maybe he gets the Money in the Bank, who knows?
Oh, Jay with Money in the Bank. That would. I didn't even think of that. Wait.
Yeah, I didn't either. Like, if I'm being completely honest, I have no clue who could possibly win that this year. The only one that I'm completely sold on is Tiffany Stratton winning the women's.
Yeah.
I don't really know who else could honestly win men's.
Yeah, for
I
the
never
men,
really sat down and thought about it.
For Jay winning the Money in the Bank would be like a whole out of left field. I would laugh if I'm right. Like, hey guys, remember on 5/21 at 12 in the morning, I came up with this crazy theory. It comes true.
Look, all I'm gonna say is yeet in the bank.
You
It
see,
writes itself. It writes itself.
Imagine his briefcase. Imagine his briefcase literally just had yeet.
You know what? Oh shoot! Oh no!
He'll more than likely be in that match. He'll more than likely be in that match. I don't see why he wouldn't. He'll definitely be a participant.
Yeah, because the Money in the Bank is usually 6 or 7. They usually put three people from Raw, 3 people from SmackDown, and then one random person if they do come in. So Jay will definitely be one of them when the time comes closer. I definitely see that.
You know what would be really cool? Because I don't think they've done this yet. Incorporate NXT.
Yeah,
I think that'll be difficult since NXT has their own type of, their own type of Money in the Bank with the NXT contract. So I think like it'll be
true, yeah.
It'll be weird. Like, how would they cash it in? Could they cash it in now in any NXT title, or can they also cash it in any on the main roster title? So
see, that's the kicker right there, because like you could have it to where it's like somebody that they would probably call up eventually. Like I can't.
More
really
than
think of
likely
right
during
now,
that month, Roxanne's gonna drop. If people don't know already, it's currently rumored. Take it for grain of salt, of course. But I believe it because it comes from a reliable source, which is Fightful. The current plan around that time is Julia versus Roxanne, and more than likely, Julia's gonna win that title off of her. So Roxanne's probably gonna be coming to the main roster in the summer.
Oh yeah, it's about to happen, and I see it. Oh, with Roxanne, because it's about time. Like she has the factor, and not to stay too much on the NXT side, but Cora Jade also came back as well this past weekend.
Yes.
Yeah. She came back all right.
So let's see what's gonna be cooking tomorrow on NXT and the next couple months. But Jay versus Gunther, I was entertained. Sadly, no yeet happened. I know Walker's happy. He's like, yeah, man.
Now we're yeet. No yeet. Now we're yeet again. Don't worry, we're all good. We're yeet again.
I was no yeet too, but I'm back on track again.
Hey, I love both. And if either one of them won, I was happy. Yeet or my general, hey, it was bound to happen.
Look, sometimes you just got to stick with agenda, all right? I mean, We all read One Piece. We know about agendas. We know how those work. You
Uh,
just throw logic out and just say you literally yeet logic out and it's gone. It's
But
fine.
guys, quick agenda. While we use this transition before we move on to our second match of the Queen of the Ring, I also want to say if you're here tuning in to watching us, definitely don't forget to use the hashtag of Weebs of the Ring. Don't forget to follow us on AniMa W3 Studio, and don't forget to follow all our socials down below in the description, where you can find us. All the time codes of our conversation of each matches and storylines are down below. So definitely stay tuned and appreciate you guys for watching, because this is Weebs of the Ring episode 30. Because now it's Queen of the Ring time, right, Mr. Watkins?
Oh, that's right. So I'm actually really glad that we were talking about the women cooking right there at the end, because they cooked again tonight with this Lyra Valkyria versus Io Sky match. Again, like this might have been my match of the night, to be honest. Like this was just really good. Like both of them are great sellers for moves. Both of them, like they have similar styles too, where they're both kind of airborne, but they know how to mat wrestle too. I don't know that I was really impressed, and I'm kind of glad they're kind of strapping the rocket to Lyra, but I'm hoping she doesn't get fed to Nia Jax on Saturday.
I just want to say
But we'll have
before
to
we
wait
even
and
talk
see.
about the match, I want to give a big shout out to the promo package of Io.
Oh yeah, it was
That
really
promo
good.
package was just straight up fire. It's like, or straight up water, wet. I don't even
I
have a
was
water
gonna
joke.
say, wait.
I'm like, hold up. It's technically the opposite of elemental. I don't have a water joke, guys. So I'm gonna
It
just
was
transition out
straight
of it.
up wet. That's what it was.
I don't know. Hey, promo was amazing. Always, I'm happy. I miss you, Shinsuke. It's been a while, but
Oh.
hey, just to hear Io give her language and where she's best at, and she feels at home and she feels that dominant force. I love it. So it sounded great. I didn't expect to hear like a water type of promo. I don't think we have ever gotten that, or if we have, I have not seen that in a long time.
Yeah.
Overall, it looked amazing. I didn't expect it, and it was something that I did not expect. That I'm like, oh shit, this is just amazing. Like, this promo is just fire.
Oh yeah. But I know one of us on here has been very very heavy on this on Lyra Valkyria. Drop, how did you feel about this match? I know I texted you, I messaged you. I was just like, "Hey, here it is. Here you go. Let's go. Let's get this."
I'm
Give me
honestly
the
like
fans of
really
NXT.
yeah, because my whole my whole adventure when it came to like Lyra like comes all the way back until like I believe around May of last year, where at around the time in NXT she wasn't where she was, where she was pretty much like one of those, I guess you could say, like she was in like a little mid card area for the women over there. Then after a while, they started building her up like they normally do in NXT when they create more stars. And then that's when her and Tiffany ended up headlighting that pay-per-view for the vacant NXT Women's Championship. And then from there, Lyra's interacting with Rhea. Lyra's interacting with Becky Lynch. And then later on in the fall, she becomes the NXT Women's Champion. And straight from there, she's just been fantastic. And I'm just honestly really happy that she's being pushed to this level, because this is what one of the things I like that Triple H did with the draft this year. Because normally when we get the draft and we get these NXT call-ups, they don't normally get that much shine right away. Like you usually have to wait a long time. Yep. But usually like when you get usually when you get those, I'll excuse her. But Braun Breaker, but Braun Breaker. But when it comes to like somebody like Carmelo Hayes, that you're putting up against guys like Cody and Randy already, but Braun's just in like little squash matches. That definitely tells me something.
To have this conversation, we're gonna go so heavy on that.
Because I look at Braun and Melo at the same. They're both futures of the company, so they should be pushed the exact same. But getting back to Lyra, what the thing I was getting into, the reason why I like how Triple H handled the call-ups this year is that he's actually utilizing the NXT call-ups to their he's actually using them properly. They're not in the background, they're not just there, they're not taking pins. Like the first thing they did with Lyra, put her inside the Queen of the Ring tournament and then had her go all the way to the finals. That shows you right there that they see big things in her. They have faith in her. They have Becky alongside her, which is probably the most over woman in that company right now. That tells you right there that they see a future with that woman right there. And as time goes on, she's going to keep on improving more and more and more. And I'm a big fan of Lyra, and I just wish the best for her. And I'm glad that she's able to showcase what she's capable of, because a lot of people, before she got to the level she was before, a lot of people were saying, damn, Lyra is like underrated. She really needs to get pushed more. And then she did. And then people could finally see, okay, this is what we actually do when we see people that can do something in our company and we actually push them instead of just these random nobodies that nobody really gives a shit about.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that she's going up against somebody like Io, who is a former women's champion. And everybody loves Io. Everybody knows how great of an in-ring performer Io is. Everybody knows how good her promos is, especially how Triple H has been orchestrating the promos when it comes to like Shinsuke and Io and Asuka and Kairi and all of them. So it definitely shows that, okay, we can get the message being delivered to the fans so they understand, instead of just doing how it was before. It's like talking with the mic in the middle of the ring and the audience not knowing what they're saying. Like, video packages help. They do a lot. That's why I like how even with these new call-ups, doing video packages so people know who they are. And showcasing what she's capable of against Io. You know, she had to step in the bag and pull out a couple of tricks that she hasn't done before. I've never seen her. Well, first off, Lyra's always been a great seller, and her selling, as was mentioned in the notes, it's top tier. Like when Lyra gets like hit or by something, she sells it for a while. It's not like and then she's done. She sells it for a good while.
Her vocal selling was really good tonight.
Was on the
like,
spot.
I mean, okay, take what I'm about to say in context of wrestling. But like, just like her moans and groans and all that during the match is just like, okay, yeah, I can tell that you're in pain. You know, I can believe that you're in pain. And that,
do you want to give us an example, Watkins?
No, because family's home and they're trying to sleep, so I can't really do that right now. Maybe
I guess
another time.
You don't want to be like Tamatanga?
No, that's just different. That's just like wild Thornberry's bullshit.
Yeah, that honestly, I wasn't able to say my piece on that, but I'm gonna say this real quick. I apologize, Lyra. But I even mentioned it at work today with my coworker Mike. I'm like, what the fuck is this gremlin shit right here?
Right?
Like this literally sounds like I'm watching Gremlins, and I've talked about Gremlins on my channel before. Great movie, check it out. But I remember when I watched that movie, and then you got like one of the 3 rules: turn off the lights, make sure they don't go by water, make sure they don't
feed them after 8,
feed them after midnight, and then you have this dude. You have this.
Was hilarious.
Yeah, and you have this dude, Tamatanga, just making these random ass noises, and I'm like, what is Stripe doing in WWE? What is Gizmo doing? I can't really say Gizmo because he's a cute little furball. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't bother anybody. He's pure. But those little green little gremlins, what the hell are they doing in WWE? He literally sounds like a gremlin. Like I'm honestly, I get it. It's supposed to be funny or whatever, but I'm hoping they're not going to use his character as just making random ass noises like that. That's just a little weird.
No, I'm sorry.
Especially if you want to portray him as a badass, and then you want him to be the Tasmanian devil at the same time. You might as well have him do the little spins.
Just for the joke, just for the laughs. Just give us to me 1 more week or 2 more weeks just for the laugh. Because the memes that's come out of this, I still haven't even made a meme of me or Watkins saying shit about it on Friday. I'll go do that tomorrow to at least post something because it's just hilarious.
If that's the case, then he needs to step up his game and just dress up as a Tasmanian devil and do the little spins.
I'm okay with
exactly.
road or some shit. Just go with it.
And give him new music.
But getting back to Lyra,
because
we want you to be the center of attention right now because you definitely deserve it. You're going into the finals, which I'll talk about. But another thing I want to mention is that swinging submission. I've never seen her do that at all.
So yeah, apparently
like
it was
time thing.
apparently it was like a nod to the Hurricane because apparently
Okay.
he did this. But see, the only difference is apparently he like uh, I'll try to find the clip later to share it, but like he got Tajiri in one, and then he like waddled over to the corner and like that swing she did when she was holding EO.
Mm-hmm.
Hurricane kind of did that, and like Tajiri's head kind of hit the bottom corner post or whatever. I'll look up the video later and share it with you
Yeah.
guys. But like, apparently that might have been what it was. Like, it just like a nod to good old
Yeah.
Gregory Helms with all that.
And another
But
thing
yeah,
that she's doing that I mentioned in the chat too, she was about to pull off White Noise too. I don't know if you guys
yeah,
caught
she
that.
was.
I thought she was going for like an Avalanche Nightwing, but she was actually going for White Noise.
Mm-hmm. So,
But
learning from the best.
honestly, like just to sum it up, I'm happy that Lyra is being showcased so people know that she's a big deal. She's not just going to be used this one-time thing. Like, she's actually going to be one of the future stars in the company. And the best way to display that, even if she goes up against a Bianca or Nia, at least it allows the audience to grow and be attached to her and see her. Because like one of the other things that people have to keep in mind is just because somebody loses doesn't mean you lose interest in them. I mean, look at Cody Rhodes, for example. He lost at WrestleMania last year. Did people lose faith in him? No. They kept following his journey, and then here we are this year. He won the world title. He completed his story. So with like Lyra's case, not saying it's like a similar thing, but it's like even if she doesn't win against a Nia or Bianca, which personally I'm not really expecting her to. Would it be cool? I would love it. That's me talking about from like a fan's perspective, and then looking at it from a content creator's perspective. As a fan, I would love it. That would be like one of the best things you could do to display one of your best stars, throwing them in there and having them win the Queen of the Ring like that. That's pretty crazy because I don't think we've ever seen anything like that. But looking at it from a content,
I was just gonna say that. Oh, sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
I was just gonna say really quick, like I think the closest we've ever gotten to that was Finn back in 2016 when he won. Like he won that fatal 4-way match and then beat Roman Reigns. Like I can't remember. Was that all that on the same night or was it within like 2 weeks? I want to say it was the same night.
I don't remember, but I do know what you're referring to. And then he ended up beating Seth Rollins, and then he had to vacate the whole championship.
Yeah, like that was the last time I can remember an NXT call up being like having the Rocket strapped to them this quick and like this hard.
Because I do want to add to that is since I haven't seen much of NXT, I was curious and I've seen a bit of Lyra last year. Her reign actually lasted 164 days as the NXT champion. So that's honestly really cool. And for her to be Io Sky, who had a 304 days of an NXT champion, that's also really dope to see. Like for her to even Michael Cole said it like she just beat a previous champion before. Like so it's showing the big strides of what she did of Lyra, being the next up and coming and showing of what she could do. So I love that very much because I was curious to, to see what has been the current NXT, the past 4 years. I see, Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, Io Sky, Raquel, and then Mandy Rose, having the highest right now out of the past 4 years. And then, Tiffany, Becky, Lyra, and then Roxanne again. So I love to see that Lyra had a long championship in her run. So I love that. And to see her, like you said, skyrocketed with her being in the Queen of the Ring and actually going to finals to Saudi this coming weekend. That's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and just going back to like what I said before, just to finish up my thoughts.
Yeah.
From like a content creator's perspective, like I'm expecting her to fight Nia because I can't really see a face and face of Lyra and Bianca. Like if it was the other way around, it would end up being Io and Bianca. But I don't think anybody wants to see that again.
No.
I mean, that's the whole reason why they got split. We don't want to see that again. But it's more than likely going to be Lyra and Nia. And I think Lyra is probably going to pull off some pretty crazy shit in that match. but she's probably not going to win. But like I said before, just because you lose, it doesn't mean that people give up on you or anything like that. That's honestly another way how you get even more over than you already are now.
Yeah.
Well, like, and that kind of goes into a point I just wanted to touch really briefly on, because I know we didn't talk much about it with Backlash and all that. But I like how we're doing these kind of roll up finishes, but they're not like cheap roll ups. So
Yeah.
like you're not getting like an old school boy or like, oh, holding the tights or anything. Like, for I mentioned Backlash. There was the Bailey, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton match. So it's like, Bailey wins. She didn't do a finish or anything. She just reversed a roll up from Naomi and won. And kind of the same here with Lyra, where like she caught Io, and it always just reminds me of this moment. It was during another match. It was John Cena and The Rock, I believe, where like John Cena very early on almost had The Rock beat, and like he did like that little motion, like, oh, I almost got you, like this close. I was this close to ending you, and it's like it having these more roll up finishes and them not being cheap like they used to be. It adds a little bit more of that sportsmanship that they're kind of trying to build up with WWE, because like you're building up the competition where like a match can end whenever. It doesn't just have to be like from the signature or the finish or anything. It could just happen, So I like how they've been doing that, especially the way they've been doing that lately. So I just at least wanted to point that out, because like especially here, it's like you have the finish, and then Io like cuts off Lyra during her post match interview, and like she says, and somebody had translated this online. Basically Io said, "I'm not finished with you yet. Like we're not done yet." And like that's how you like plant seeds for future stories.
Yeah, see that's what I'm expecting after Queen of the Ring. Like I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Damage Control or even Io herself is the very reason why Lyra doesn't end up becoming the Queen of the Ring. Like something like that might come out. Like I'm honestly hoping it's just a one-on-one match or no interference. If they want to do that on Monday, so be it. That's fine. I would honestly prefer it just to be okay, no interference. Just same thing with the Randy and Gunther match. I'm giving you spoilers. That's what you're getting. Get excited.
Yeah.
But I'd honestly just prefer it to be a clean one-on-one match, and just to showcase both from the men and the ladies. And if they want to do something on Monday, that's fine. But yeah, more than likely, after Lyra loses the tournament, do I want that? No, but it makes sense.
And plus, we have these wrestlers in the women division still young.
Yeah.
Io Sky,
Yeah.
it's only 34.
Yeah.
We have Lyra Keir is only
time.
27. So we still have these feuds to still going on with Io. Yeah. I just fact check it. That's why. So I literally quick double check. I'm here with the questions. Boom, boom.
Yeah, no, I got you. There.
So like, and plus Dakota, she's 36, Bailey 34. So it's nice to see Kairi Zane, she's 35. So we have these wrestler roster that's still at a young age to still put up a feud, to put up storylines still going on. So I was very happy with Io Sky because I did see the translation as well, saying that I'm not done with you. Once I saw that online, I was happy to see, like, just to hear the Io was like, I'm not done with you. We still got some shit going on now because you just took my opportunity. So I love that, to show that after this Queen of the Ring, there's still possibility. And even after this match, we had a little altercation of Lyra with Liv. So even if Liv wins, even if Liv wins with Becky this weekend, we have, if possible, feud now with Lyra and Liv going on. So that's something that also can happen in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about that. Like, hypothetically, if Liv wins and if Lyra wins, like, it's honestly giving you like both scenarios that can play out. Like, if Lyra ends up losing, then okay, there she goes with Io. But if she ends up winning, she could still feud with Io, which more than likely she will. But then she has that guaranteed title opportunity. So Liv wins, they could potentially start something.
Yeah. So like those opportunities that I really like a lot when it comes to the storyline, the little pieces that has been going on with the conversations, even with women like Watkins said, even the match is done, there's still those little segments that pushes the story even further. With I believe it was Kayla or Jackie coming out to speak to Lyra and everything, and then after that, with Lyra, speaking to Becky, and then Liv jumping in. So all those things are intertwined together, and I love that. But I do want to add that goddamn swinger submission. I did not expect that so much. It's like, yo, this.
It caught me off guard.
It,
I honestly,
it caught me off guard.
same here. I was like,
I'm
wait, what are you doing?
For a
I
second,
honestly-
I thought it was like a regular, I thought it was a regular backbreaker thing on the submission that they do. But then once you start to grab her off the air, I'm like, are we doing a swinging submission? Hold up.
Yeah, I think that was her showcasing her strength because she is
Yes.
pretty bulky.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly hoping she adds that to her arsenal. It's not just
I
a
hope
one-time
so, too.
thing.
I hope so. Yeah.
Because it works out so well.
Yeah.
Yep. Cesaro, you have 48 hours to respond. So respond on Dynamite, sir. But yeah,
I hope not, because it's like, yo, AW, just do your goddamn show. Stop caring about other people.
that's all they need to.
I mean,
Yeah,
Gunther
but-
made a special appearance at Dynamite tonight.
Oh, look, man. Look, man.
That's the closest they're
Oh,
ever gonna get to that, man.
I just
I've
understood it in
seen-
2 seconds.
That's the
I've
closest
seen
they're ever gonna get to
so-
that, man.
I've seen so many posts of that. I'm like, man, come on, internet.
Because nobody was there.
When you're right, it's just like, come on. But
Johnny Bravo says, "Oh, mama."
oh, mama, yeah. But yeah, so we had a lot of mamas going on in our King and Queen in the Ring tournaments. Glad our Raw brackets are done and over with.
Oh,
Gunther
yes.
moving forward. Lyra. Apparently this was a surprise for a lot of people, but I mean, I was happy. I also
To me,
kind of
this-
wanted Lyra to win.
To me, this match, I was okay with 50-50. Like Drop said, even if Io won, like I said last Friday, it would have been Io versus Bianca, and that feud once and for all. But it's different roster, so it could have gone either way. But Lyra versus Nia would be a great opportunity for Nia to win or for Lyra to win either way. So, like I said Friday, we had great opportunities for either 4 of the finalists. I'm more happy with these 4 finalists in the woman than the king. So I'm very happy with this so far, that at least either of these 4, Io, Nia, Lyra, and Bianca, I would have been fine with any of these 4 ladies to have won the Queen of the Ring.
Right.
Honestly, just looking at Lyra and Nia as a match, that's pretty much your David and Goliath math right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I always forget just how, like, because I mean, Drop, you had mentioned, just how strong Lyra is, but she's also got a tiny figure too. Like,
Yeah.
and I kind of forget that too, because like her overall presence makes her feel a lot bigger than she is, and I don't know that I can commend a person that is like that, But yeah, I mean, I think we basically exhausted the King and Queen in the Ring segments for this evening, or at least for this show. We'll talk more about it on. Well, I don't know if all of us will talk about it on Friday, but hey, some of us will. But instead of talking about some things, let's sing a few things, because I like to title this little segment, this little story that's going on, The Ballad of the Alpha Academy. And we had another verse of our ballad tonight with Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable 3. This had a lot of layers to it tonight, because not only was it stuff like during the match, but we had some stuff before the match, and we had some stuff later on in the night as well. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about this promo segment at the beginning. I mean, to me at least, it was very straightforward with Sami just saying, things are personal with me and Gable, but not so much with Reed. He's more of a businessman, but just saying he's going to walk out as the champion, and then Chad's going to come out and be the toxic coach that he is. How do we feel about this promo back and forth between Sami Zayn and the dick Chad Gable? What's wrong, Vash? Did that get you?
Yeah, I didn't expect that transition of telling us about the dick Chad Gable. I do want to say, Chad, you're a horrible coach. Maxine walked out and said, "Nah, I ain't effing with this. I'm not effing with this." But Otis, I understand where you had to switch, gears and be like, "Nah, I couldn't decide." Really curious to see what the spin the wheel of option we're gonna get this weekend with Otis, because I'm kind of curious to see where we're gonna go with Otis this weekend. Because with what happened with Sami, of him asking for advice and hearing the opinion, and then him choosing to ask for forgiveness from Sami, but then still have Sami lose the match tonight. So really curious to see where Otis will be on the side of Chad this weekend. Really curious to see if he's going to turn on Chad or not, since we also saw what happened after the match with the conversation with the Creed brothers too. So I'm really curious to see what's the end result of this weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially with Otis, I mean, because I really like the character work they're doing with Otis, because it's like, okay, he and Sammy even said it tonight. Otis is a nice guy. That's why he walked up to Sammy to say, "Hey, sorry, I had to do that," and all that. And even during the match, like Otis felt very conflicted, just like Maxine and Tozawa were as well. It's like they didn't want to be heels, they didn't want to be bad, they didn't want to cheat or anything, because part of that was kind of the opposite of what Chad had been teaching them up to this point. But yeah, I'm looking forward to when Otis just decks Chad Gable in the schnoz, because it's going to be the most cathartic thing. And I think it's going to happen a little sooner than later just because of Sammy's words tonight.
Yeah, I honestly think it's happening on Saturday.
Yep.
Because then you got to factor in what we saw later on the evening with the Creed brothers. So that's another story that's going to play out as well, because at least from there, okay, the Alpha Academy made their decision. They're moving on. They're not going to mess around with Gable anymore because he's just a complete douchebag, and they just don't want to take that abuse from him anymore. Yeah. So that's why they're centering all of this around Otis, because with Maxine and Tozawa, the audience doesn't really care all that much. It's mainly when it comes to Otis is like when you really start factoring things in. And this is honestly starting to give me vibes of Dom and Ray, where it took Ray so long to hit Dom last year during the build-up to WrestleMania 39. But then once Ray eventually hit Dom, you had the audience explode in excitement, because they're like, holy shit, Ray finally did it. It's giving me vibes of that, where it's like, okay, Otis finally did it. He finally turned on Gable. He finally stuck up for himself and said, hey, listen, I don't want you picking on me, telling me that I'm worthless, telling me that I'm a piece of shit, this and that. Like, he finally stood his ground. And he had the high ground.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to Otis's turn on Gable. And again, hopefully it comes a little sooner than later. But like, even during the match with Chad and Sammy, it was when his first little instance of trying to get Alpha Academy to cheat. Because at first I was just like, wait, what is Chad doing? And then like I kept noticing his hand like at his side, like kind of goading Maxine to like slap Sammy, and he kind of did it again later with Tozawa. But it was just kind of funny to me, because it's like he wasn't really being that subtle with it, but it was subtle enough to where like the referee didn't notice it, and like us as the audience can now notice it, and we're just like, oh, that's him trying to get them to cheat. It's one of those little nice things that I like that really adds a lot to the story and the characters going forward. But
Yep.
I mean, action wise, the match was pretty dang good. I mean,
Oh,
these
yeah.
two have good chemistry with each other and can pull out really good matches with each other. And kind of sucks that Sami ate the loss here, but it does make sense, especially if Chad isn't winning on Saturday.
Yeah, because like JD feels about this too, because I know he brought it up as well.
Mhm.
And I agree with him. I'm normally not a fan of having champions get pinned because the only time they
Yeah.
should ever get pinned is when they eventually lose that title. Like, would it make any sense for Roman to get pinned, even if it was like a non-title match?
He
Yeah,
did get pinned once the year before when it was
Oh no, I know
Usos
that.
versus Roman and
Oh,
Solo,
yeah, I
right?
know that. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Even like people had like issues with that around the time because they looked at it and they're like, okay, well, the first person that pins Roman, it has to mean something. And obviously, it did pay off in the long run. But it's
Yeah.
like normally people don't like when champions get pinned because they want to build up the champion and they want to make them look strong. The only time they should normally get pinned or submit is when they eventually drop that title. But it makes
Yeah.
sense in this scenario because typical one-on-one WWE. So if you got somebody like Gable standing tall in that match and he got a win over Sami, more than likely he's not going to be winning that match on Saturday.
Yeah. Just and that's just how WWE books things a lot because they like to, especially with their go home shows, be like, "Oh, look, the challenger is winning right now." It's just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
But
you have the visual now of them holding the
Because I
belt."
because I think
however,
what it is.
I like it that even though like I agree with what you guys are saying
Mhm.
and what JD says that the champion should not get pinned. However, this was not a clean pin. This was Otis
Yeah.
interfering. So this
Oh,
at
I,
least helps it to make it feel like okay, cool. It wasn't a clean pin where Chad like knock him down and then boom, clean pin. Then it makes you question like why is Sami being the champion if he's getting pinned?
Mhm.
All right, cool. Otis distracted him. It was more of of an assistant. Then I'll be like, all right, cool. I will let this slide because if it was like a regular pin, then I'll be like, this is questionable. Why do we have the
Yeah.
champion that's supposed to be the champion and he's having a triple threat this weekend? This does not look good on him. But him losing because of Otis and then Otis apologizing, it gives the extra layer and where I kind of forgive it. Like, all right, cool. I
Yeah.
understand it. Like story
You
wise,
also,
I get it, and as a wrestler
yeah,
wise, I get it.
yeah, because if you look at it from like a story perspective, the way that Otis went up there and he attacked Sami and he cost him the match, and you had Gable going over, it plays into the story because in Gable's eyes, he's like, okay, you helped me, and then when he came to Gable later that night after he told Gable that he apologized to Sami, now Gable's like, okay, Otis is trying to get into Sami's head. He wants Sami to think that okay, Otis is this good guy, but in reality, he's actually just gonna pretty much tear him up from the inside, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So it's
No, it does.
like with Otis's case, he got into Gable's head now. So now Gable won't know what's gonna happen because Gable saw what happened on Monday and he has faith in Otis and he feels like Otis is on his side now. But in reality, Otis just pulled one up over Gable and he's gonna catch him
Right.
off guard. So it
Yeah.
works in both ways and it's very smart.
And I can't wait for him to turn on Gable because that's gonna feel like the most cathartic feeling
Oh yeah.
in a hot minute.
My hope is that Otis doesn't get sidelined after this. Like, hopefully, he still gets
Mhm.
involved
Yeah.
in the story or Maxine or Butazawa. And
Yeah.
my hope is that I hate it when it comes to teams like Alpha Academies or like teams that are meant to be something, but then when the leader or a member gets dissolved or gets to be in a new team,
Mhm.
I don't want the full team to get dissolved either. Like I don't want Tozawa, Maxine, and Otis to now be a new team and has to be rebranded with a new name. hopefully it gets with the Alpha Academy. Still the name, still shows the good side of them and everything. That's my hope, because I hate it when the like 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 for example DX, when DX broke up, a couple times because of Sean or Triple H, breaking on, one of them have to betray each other for the story. That kind of sucks at the end, because the DX was always, great to hear the intro and everything else, but the group itself was also still entertaining to see.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
I
I
don't
just
know.
have to run to the
Copy.
Oh yeah, you're good. You're good. So
So at the end, it's great to see with what's going on with Alpha Academy, and hopefully it stays continuing with Otis, and hopefully he's still part of the story and going forward.
yeah. So hopefully everything goes well with that and everything, but we'll just have to wait and see. I do like, though, there are a couple other things I wanted to point out from this. I'm glad we didn't forget about Bronson Reed. I'm glad he just kind of came by like backstage. It's just like, look, I don't give a crap about anything else. All I care about is taking that title from you. So just kind of tie it in more to like how Bronson Reed really doesn't care about like Chad Gable stuff and all that. He is more focused on winning titles, winning matches, and all that. Which, yeah, you probably should be in this profession, shouldn't you, dude?
I missed that. I missed the first 20 minutes, so I'm glad
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm being informed, because when it comes to it, Bronson Reed, you're also somebody else that reminds me as Jay Uso, that gets his opportunities by having gotten any recognition or gotten actually the baton passed to you, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
you are getting these title opportunities, but you're not executing the title opportunities, and that's what sucks.
Right. Yeah. And hopefully you can capitalize on them eventually. But the other thing I wanted to point out too is that Gable now has his own "You Suck" chance. Now you may think to yourself, "Huh? Why is that such a big thing? Why is that such a
Because it
big
happened
deal
during his
to?"
actual outro.
Well, not only just that, but a certain other Olympic gold medalist that he gets a lot of comparisons to. People said "You Suck" during his music too, and now it's happening with Chad Gable. It's like, oh, that's really cool that like people are starting to incorporate that into Chad Gable's theme, and hopefully entrance moving forward now, because yeah, you do suck, dude. Like you suck
My hope,
hard. Even Mhm.
is that the U.S. crowd needs to get better, because this crowd suck overall during the night. But
Yeah.
I'm glad they actually did their job where they were supposed to. So I'm glad that during this time they actually did their job of saying "you suck" while he was there and everything, and actually executed at the right time.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to this match. I think this is gonna be a sleeper hit on Saturday. You know,
Now,
when I get a chance to watch it, yeah, it'll be fine.
I have to bring, yeah, chat. We haven't announced or said if we're gonna do coverage for this week. We're gonna try to do our best, since we
Yeah.
missed our coverage for Backlash this past PLE. But we will try to do our best for Saudi Arabia. If we do not do it Saturday night, we'll try to see if we have the time for what other day? Sunday. I forgot what's the other day of the weekend. Sunday. So yes,
Yeah.
we'll try to see if we have
Someday.
the we'll try to see if we have the time and opportunity when the time comes. But
Mhm.
I do want to give a quick comment that I just remember, t- talking about venue. For anybody that watches Dakota Kai on streaming,
Mhm.
I love how she said it when she said, "Oh my God, Friends audience was amazing," and then it's just crazy how right after that Monday we gotta go to Connecticut. Like, it just goes from great audience to France, and then oh sweet Connecticut, and I'm like, just hearing that, like just hearing the wrestler own opinion about how much
Yeah.
they love the audience of France, and like the contagions of beautiful feedback and all that, and then you
Mhm.
hear the lackluster of fans in the US, you're like, yeah. We know, but just to hear
Yeah.
them say it, like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, we get it. We suck. You know, we already know this. A good portion of us already know this and spout all of that. Usually 24/7. Just depends on who you are and all that. But yeah, so yeah, again, I'm looking forward to the match. Early prediction
I about to
probably
say,
Sammy winning, but
I about to say, I
I
hope
mean, yeah.
Sammy retains. I hope Sammy
Hmm.
retains. It'd be curious to see if he does lose. I think it's gonna go to Chad. That my
Yeah.
runner, my hope, my early prediction is Chad, and my runner up would my winner to be Sammy. My runner up would be Chad.
Okay. All right. So I guess for mine, I would probably say Sammy, but that's mainly because I think the person he's gonna drop it down to is the person that we're about to talk about next. Who was a
Oh,
very a
you think
very
so? Oh,
very
okay,
angry
okay.
boy. Oh yeah, I think this might be our next Gunther long reign.
That
You know,
would be
not
interesting.
surpassing it, but like it's gonna be long.
Look, mm, oh, you probably might not like my comment then. Oh, okay.
What
Let's
about
get
Braun Breaker being
no,
an
not
angry boy?
no, not Braun Breaker. I don't want a long championship right now. I want
Oh
short
yeah.
championship reigns right now because we already had IC titles 666 days. We have Roman Reigns with the 1,200 and something days. Like
Hmm.
with Cody, like yo, be I don't mind if you're champion until next year WrestleMania. You win and then you could lose it in backlash or whatever. I'm okay with that. Or if you lose it in the next 6 to 8 months, that's fine. I'm okay with that as
Yeah.
long as you give us good matches, entertaining. Whatever the fuck the IWC community says, you could go SMD. But when it comes to the mid card or the other titles, I don't need long reigns again. I want to like at least a good
Hmm.
40 to maybe 200 days. That's it. I don't need long reigns. So like if Braun Breaker becomes it, be angry, be mad, but do not hold it for the next 300 or 400 days. I want to see
Hmm.
faces swap. I want to see heels, baby faces swap with the titles. That's what I want to see. Cause like if we're in the new era, Triple H, cool, that's fine. But give these opportunities, but have them executed. Don't just have these opportunities and don't then actually get presented by, like, for example, Jay. He better have a title by the end of the year at least for a good 30 or good 200 days. At least something. Get what I'm saying? It's like I don't
Yeah.
need another IC title reign for 600 days. I don't need that.
Oh yeah, no. And yeah, I can see like maybe like a good 200-day reign. That's mainly what I meant by like a long reign, like maybe between like 2 maybe 400. I mean, I know that's stretching like past a year, but I think a long enough reign like that would be something that Braun Breaker would easily be able to do. And I think too with him being the one to dethrone Sammy, because he was getting boos tonight too. And what he was getting boos for? Oh, don't worry, sit tight, everybody. We'll get to why Braun Breaker was possibly getting some boos tonight. Uh, but yeah, like that would be some like immediate nuclear molten lava hot heat that Braun Breaker would get by not only just taking the title from Sammy, but here's a wild and out there little prediction. Squash Sammy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be interesting because look,
Yeah.
chat. If you don't know what we're talking about, go online on YouTube or Twitter. You'll probably find it there for the next 3 minute clip. Braun Breaker came out, and I'm like, oh shit, we're about to get a match with Braun Breaker. Nice. And I'm like, wait a minute, are we about to get another jobber match? Are we about to get another Jaborni? Like really? And then when Michael Cole was speaking about we have the Discord and Kill Dixon, he's from the NXT level up. I'm like, hold up, we're not even getting the NXT person. We're getting the
Nope.
NXT level up that's on Peacock. You gotta be fucking kidding me. And I'm like, yo, he's gonna be thrown down next 30 seconds and call it a W. Nope.
Yep.
Braun Breaker said, F this. I'm not gonna destroy this person. I'm gonna murder this person, send him to the ambulance, and call it a wrap. Wait,
Yeah.
no, not rap. I still got round 2 of somebody else that we're gonna talk about. But this man literally just talking to himself at the corner, showing the frustration. Even the camera showing this angle where he's like just on the corner, like, I don't fuck with this shit. Why do they keep giving me these people? Like, I don't want to name him. I'm not gonna name him. I'm gonna name him. I'm gonna name his catchphrase. Feed me more.
Oh no.
This is what I felt like Braun Breaker, but the better version of this guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Braun Breaker didn't want to feed. He wanted to destroy. He's like, yo, I'm tired of you feeding me these people that I don't even want. Like he told Adam Pearce last week, you didn't put me in King of the Ring, and you thought that I would be swimming with the sharks. No, they would be swimming with me, and I would destroy them. So for Adam Pearce, what he said, even Braun Breaker told him, said that you didn't put me in the King of the Ring. This is on you, and I get it because Braun Breaker was pissed. He was mad. He was talking to himself in the ring. He's literally in the corner, like, "What the fuck is this bullshit? What the fuck is this shit?"
And I think that
this bullshit.
I think like the biggest thing from all of this going on with Braun was the camera work, because they did a really good job of like keeping like a zoomed in look of his face, and just his facial expressions the whole time. Just him, just you could tell the frustration just kind of oozing out of him, and then like him just taking it all out on this poor Dixon guy. Like,
My
like
question
it wasn't just
for Oh, I was gonna say, my question for this is this going to possibly lead into that whole trade reports you've been hearing from weeks ago?
The trade report of him going back to SmackDown?
No, well, it wasn't really a report on him, but it was said like around, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks or so, that there might be some trades, and that was reported by Russell Votes, and they're very reliable. And I'm not saying it could I'm not saying it could be him. I'm just saying that
hopefully it's not with Braun, because it would make no sense. Like, what's the point?
No, I wouldn't want him
SmackDown to Raw and then back.
No,
to
I wouldn't want
SmackDown.
him. It would have to be some. I would honestly have it be like, Baron for Jay or something like that. Because Jay's gonna have to go over to SmackDown to start that story.
I don't have an idea of who to trade right now at the current state, but hopefully it's not Braun. But I love Walker's. I agree 100%. The camera work. My favorite part is that once this man got out of the ring, this man did a nice sprint around a full corner to corner, and then spear this dude down. And then I went online, seeing a couple of people that I barely see talk about wrestling. Literally said, "Yo, Braun Breaker is just a beautiful spear." I'm like, "Bitch, where the fuck did you come?"
Oh yeah,
he does have a shirt that says the best spear in the business for a reason, and I have to agree with him.
Oh hell
when it comes to the people that deliver the spear that are currently on the main roster, he probably delivers the spear the best. And one of the reasons could be because he's young and he has a lot more energy in him. So he's able to.
Well, it felt so bad. Braun being in the mid-card match, and then Jay being in the main event match, seeing Braun break his spear to seeing Jay Uso spear. I'm like, there's a difference. I'm like, that's a huge difference. I'm like, Jay, you may want to fix your spears, because right now, compared to Braun, he's making your spear look like it's trash.
I'm honestly just hoping what comes out of this mainly is it actually points Braun into like a better direction. So he's not just facing jobbers every single week. Like, he's actually doing something with his character. And I feel like we're definitely going to be getting that, especially with what we saw with him and Ricochet tonight. So it definitely seems like that's probably going to be like his first major feud with Ricochet. And like I talked about with you guys already, that's a pretty good showcase to see what Braun Breaker is capable of. Because one of the things that I didn't really like that they have done with Braun on the main roster so far is they just put him in like these squash matches, so he's just hitting them with a spear or a power bomb or whatever
I
the
think he's
case may
had
be.
5 matches so far, and each of them have been a jobber.
Yeah. See that's my issue, and that's why the good thing about this whole thing that he's going to start a Ricochet, it actually showcases what he's truly capable of, because I've been following Braun for a while. I know what he's capable of, and he can pull off more than just 1 or 2 moves. He could pull off a whole bunch of things. If you're like on the top rope, he can do like a Hurricanrana just to get you on the mat again. Like, this guy can do a lot of different moves throughout the ring, and since Ricochet's so athletic, I mean, we saw the performance that Ricochet and Ilya did a couple weeks ago. That was a fantastic match. So you can only imagine having like somebody with like brute force like Braun Breaker going up against a high flyer, somebody that's very athletic like Ricochet. Like, that's going to be a very interesting style of wrestling between the two, because we're definitely getting that.
I wish I could be like a fly on the wall in this conversation with the writing team or the producers to know why have they been booking Braun Breaker in this way? Because like I like, what's the reason that you have Braun Breaker, the type of wrestler he is, the type of athlete, the type of um the dominance that he has to be thrown with 5 jobbers that we don't even recognize that are from NXT or from the main event of WWE that's on Peacock or Hulu, whatever. It's like, what does this add to the character that's Braun Breaker?
Yeah.
Why do we need to see this when he's more for this? When we had him for the longest reigning champion on NXT, the title reign, when he has held NXT for almost a year, 2 years, holding the NXT and everything. But then when he came up to SmackDown, they was making him, try to choose Nick Aldis. Hey, I got you here. You had this opportunity. Cool. But then you have 3-4 matches with jobbers, and it's like quick 1 minute and everything. And like, what's going on? Like, Braun Breaker is not Jade. You don't need to set him up. We see how dominant he is at NXT. So why are we being careful with him? Did he have an injury that we aren't aware of? Is it like, I really wish there's a fly on the wall that during this conversation, or hopefully in the next couple of months, we find out the actual reason why he had this type of reason, or was this all a story reason to get him to where he is now, to getting upset, to getting angry, to show the wild side he is, the wolf dog side he is. I'm really curious to know, like, what was the reason for this? Was it Route A, where we on right now, or was there Route B that we had to pivot and go to Route A? I'm really curious about that.
See, the issue with the whole Braun situation of how they're showcasing him on the main roster is WWE appeals to the casual audience. They don't give a shit about us. We're critiquing, and we actually look at things from a story perspective and everything. They book it for the casual audience because they know they'll just eat up whatever. So the only thing that sucks about how they portrayed Braun Breaker before tonight is people might look at him as like, oh, okay, this guy is just like Omos. He's just squashing people, and that's it. That's just all he is. He just hits people with a few moves, and that's it. People might look at him as boring because that's all he can do.
So we'll just have to wait and see with all that. But I do like, I do like the story that we're telling with Braun, because like it's just added frustration, and I like how like it finally blew to a boil here, where it's just like he's frustrated in that corner, and then as soon as he turns around, it's just spear. Like he is not playing around. Then let me just throw this kid out. Another running, a beautiful spear that he did on the outside, and then I mean he made the ring move again with this third spear. I like it was very slight, but I did see it like on the. I think they did like an overhead sight of the third one, but the brutality he had after this with like the steps and the chair, it kind of took me back to like the mid 2000s or like early to mid 2000s. It was just like the brutality that we got. Like it wasn't as brutal as like an ECW kind of thing, but it was more like it was the early stages of like the ruthless aggression area that was going on. So it's like it was just a level of violence that we haven't seen, or at least I can't really recall in WWE that we've seen in quite some time. Because like that chair shot he did to the guy's head when he was just laying on the
Well, he
stairs. I
did
mean,
something similar on NXT
mhm.
last year. I forgot who he did it
Okay.
against.
Von Wagner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was trying
That's
to remember
right.
who it was. I appreciate you walking to try to trigger that memory on my god. I was like, did he do
Mhm.
something similar? But I can't remember. But
Yeah.
yes, because also look, I'm here looking at the Raw roster right here currently. Because a big shout out also to Alba Fire as well, because they was also tweeting today, also coming at Adam Pierce of why they were not at
Mhm.
the women's tag match. I'm also bring them up again right after this. Once we talk about them, because it seems like Adam Pierce is not liked by a few people right now. Ron
Yeah.
Breaker, the Alba Fire in them, so it makes total sense. But look, Ron Breaker, we have in the Raw roster, he literally could fight Bronson Reed. He could fight Dijak. He could fight Drew McIntyre. He could fight Gunther. He could fight Ivar. He could
Mhm.
fight Karrion Cross. He could fight Otis.
Yeah.
Like he has big people that he could fight, but they're not giving to him. Like I would love to see Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. Like this is literally the Raw roster that we have. The options of big dudes and at least big fights.
Yeah, which I think we'll be leading towards now. I believe he's going to be starting this program with Ricochet. I'm just going to throw this out there too. Dragunov was around, and if you guys saw his little reaction when Adam Pierce came by, he's like holding his arms back, like it's like, dude, chill. You're gonna get your shot. You're gonna get your chance, but it's
Yo,
like,
by the way,
chill.
Dragunov, since when did you start wearing a suit and tie? I did not remember you doing that.
He
he's
always
always
He did.
he's always
Damn, I totally
yeah
forgot about that because
yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm like Ricochet. Since when do you still wear a suit and tie? I'm like, hold up, Dragunov. Like, did you just start doing suit and tie too? I'm like, hold up, like,
Yeah. Now
was it like
Dragunov
a business
always
meeting
did.
with Cody? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, Cody is not on the main show of Raw no more. He's on SmackDown, so people needs to start wearing suit and tie. Like, was there a memo where people now that are not in the front center needs to wear a suit and tie, be more professional, which I'm okay with.
Mhm.
If you want to be on live TV, national TV and everything, you want to get your TV time and look good on it, and then get smacked against a crate by Braun Breaker, go for it. Shit, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh,
Braun Breaker just squashed and just took somebody
Yeah.
to the ambulance and then said, "Hey, I'm not done. I'm gonna take somebody else out. I'm gonna take out Ricochet."
I love too how he's trying to make Pierce feel guilty about this, being like, you could have put me in the King of the Ring, but no, because you didn't, all of this is on you. Like, I'm not doing it. You provoked me, if anything. So you're on your own with this. You can't control me. And I do like too how Pierce tried to throw in a just a little jab with the whole Steiner math promo, being like, look, I know I don't know. I forgot what exactly is it on. Let me look at my notes real quick. Okay, never mind. I don't think I did put it in the notes, but
Yeah, he was something like, I don't know, math or something like that. Like, I get what you're saying. I don't remember the line either, but I know he said something like in between those lines. What's funny is that all this happened was in the first hour. I did as tweeted at.
There was a lot going on.
I tweeted at Adam Pierce like, "Hey, Adam Pierce, do you need some do you need a drink yet? This all has happened in the first hour." That. I was waiting for him to comment back or retweet something. I was hoping like, "Come on, Adam Pierce, you need a drink yet? Like, have you gone to the bar yet?"
Because I'll join you. What? What?
You
Oh man.
I'll travel. Just hey, just buy me a flight. I will work for
Yeah.
WE, no problem. I will help the writing for Braun Breaker. I will help him get no jobber matches.
Yeah, exactly. But as fun as a bar is and all that, like bars are fun and all that. That's great
Or
and all.
club.
But what's also really great to have? It's also really great to have a clubhouse. And who better to have a clubhouse than the Judgment Day, who was also on Raw. Now, at first I thought we were gonna go the whole show without Damian Priest, and like that would be weird, but okay. It's Damian Priest not on here, but then he shows up late. I'm like, all right, cool. Um, Judgment Day though, they had a big evening tonight. They had a tag team title match going on, and a little bit of something going on before the show. If you guys caught that,
I have a complaint about Damian
uh
Priest.
oh, uh oh, uh oh,
So,
you do too. Good.
um, so you know how when we used to have the Visionary come
Mm-hmm.
out and introduce every single weekend, welcome to Monday Night Raw. Um, Damien, why you not doing your fucking job? Because why do I feel like you're not coming out and introducing to start the show? Like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're supposed to be the world heavyweight champion of the representant of to represent the show of Monday Night Raw, and
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to be the face of Monday Night Raw, and you're supposed to be the title of the main card, and then the IC title is the mid card, and then for the women's we have Becky. I kind of miss the main face or the champion coming out to start the show at least at the 8 o'clock hour or the 9 o'clock hour, and I feel like we haven't gotten that from Damien, and I wonder
Mm-hmm.
why. Because I feel like with Seth, he started that a lot since he became the champion and he became the first one of the world heavyweight title. So him not being the champion of that and not coming out, I feel like what Watkins said on Friday of Cody being the face of SmackDown, but he still comes out and says, "What do you guys want to talk about?" Like he gives the mic, he gets the audience, he gets those catchphrases. But then Damien, I don't feel like he's getting that, and is making
Mm-hmm.
it feel is making it feel like the secondary data. And I don't want to say that because the point of you being that face or the champion of that show, Raw, and it has to mean something. And I'm kind of feeling like, all right, cool. Damien, you're mad at the end of the show that your crew or your squad or your clubhouse, your, your Mickey Mouse clubhouse is not getting the job fucking done. But aren't you supposed to be the leader? Aren't you supposed to get your shit together? And it looks like, hey, I don't even see you guys being it no more. I'm like, yeah, my guy, how about you get them to be the squad? You just left and Finn was trying to talk to you. So I feel
Yeah.
like that's getting a bit lackluster of the leadership. You guys get what I'm saying, or am I not getting nowhere?
No, I get what you
No.
mean.
Yeah, because like it's weird because I mean we even get like a few moments with Finn tonight with Damien being like, oh, I wish you were out there with me tonight, but I
Exactly.
get it, champ. It's all good, don't worry. But like even then too, I'm glad you brought up too like Damien getting mad later on because so we do have this tag team match of Judgment Day versus Awesome Truth for the World Tag Team titles, and Braun Strowman comes out to help Awesome Truth win the match, and like Damian Priest is so angry backstage. It's just like, oh, well, you guys can't get any job done, blah blah blah, and like I'm sitting here thinking, okay. You have a legitimate gripe. I get that. Judgment Day hasn't really been able to pull away big match wins except for you at WrestleMania. But it's like it's also one Braun Strowman who is
Exactly.
a monster among monsters. But not only just
No,
that,
hold up. Sorry. Our
you,
truth said Andre the Giant.
oh well, Andre the Giant, whatever. I- we'll get to Awesome Truth here in a second. I have words about Awesome Truth, but not only is it Braun Strowman they had to deal with, but it was the fact that last week you had JD McDonough
He
go up to
instigated. You
Braun
started
Strowman.
the issue.
You had him start it.
And then how do you send
you
him
like-
to go like, hey JD, now you go to NMPers and go fight him next week? Like, wait, what? You're gonna have the
Like,
littlest
what?
guy here with the biggest head versus the biggest man out of the roster of Monday Night Raw?
Yeah.
What did Jay do?
Come on, man.
What did Jay do to deserve this just to get squashed by Braun Strowman? Like, at least send Finn. At least Finn will give an entertaining match in that aspect. Like, we have not seen JD McDonough do good since the main roster, since fucking NXT UK or since NXT in general. So it's like JD hasn't been a main factor in skill set in a long time.
And that's probably what's going to lead to the downfall. I feel like all of this is happening for that very reason, because I think it's clear as day that they're probably going to take out Damian out of the Judgment Day sooner or later. He's just not really fitting in that position to be a part of that group anymore. He's not really showing any care for anybody. He's always about himself, and that's going to turn Finn and JD off and Damian, and they're just not going to want to deal with it. I mean, it was a clear sign, even with Rhea leaving, that when she came back, she's better off on her own anyway. But like when she comes back, they're just not going to be a thing. And then Damian's more than likely going to be a baby face, hoping that goes over well this time, because last time it wasn't that good. But I feel like since he's had some time and he's been in the main roster and we have a new faces looking over everything, things should be definitely a lot better, because I remember he had this old gimmick of him getting angry and acting like the Hulk and shit. So I'm glad we're not in that era anymore where we're dealing with stuff like that. Yeah, hopefully not. But the whole I don't know. I have to say this part of the show is probably you always have the one part of the show you don't really care for that much. I feel like this is probably that part.
Yeah, I could see that. Just because, like, well, I mean, I even thought about this like during the tag team match too.
Yeah, I didn't even think I cared about that because
I didn't either. Yeah, like we've seen it before, even though that was Finn and Priest, but like now you're just changing Priest for JD, and it's not like we didn't get that anyways because of R-Truth. But like, I think back to a year ago, and like Judgment Day, they were all throughout Raw. Like they were the main event for a bit. Like, yeah, we got kind of the same thing where it was like the same match over and over again. But I mean, they felt like a threat then, and they felt like more in power. Where it's like now, like even though Damian has the world title, the rest of Judgment Day are just a bunch of, I mean,
goons.
like goons, losers, like rejects. And I feel bad because one of those people is freaking Finn Balor. I'm like, man,
exactly. Yo,
Finn should be like I miss the Prince. I miss the Prince go out and say that I miss the Prince,
man.
Like,
every time this man comes out and I see that 6-pack or 8-pack of his, I'll be like, oh, one day I'll go back to the gym and get that. One day, I don't know when. It could be 2 years, 6 months, 5 years from now, but one day, like I said, this man, I'm like, this man is in shape. He has himself fitted and he's ready. Like if Triple H ever tells him like, yo, we're ready for you to be champion, like, yo, I'm ready. Boom, I'm ready. Yo, I'm dressed ready. I'm prep ready. I am fat ready, muscle wrap. Like I'm ready. And like I get frustrated. Like I can't even speak of frustration because of how I see Finn. And like seeing Finn team with JD is dope because how I see Finn and JD, I see KO and Sami. But the thing is, we see the history of KO and Sami, why they got together, the reason they got together for the Usos and everything. For JD and Finn, we didn't get no type of setup, no build up of why they're together, what they're planning. All the Damian said, you gotta get our titles back. We gotta bring it back to Judgment Day and everything. I'm like, but that was never discussed. Well, how is it just gonna be up and gun? And I'm like, sure, I didn't care for this, but sure.
Yeah.
And another, I mean, I feel like even if like after Judgment Day like breaks up and everything, I feel like Finn and JD would actually do pretty well as a tag team if they wanted to do
Yes.
it for a little bit.
I think
Only
so too.
because it's like student and mentor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
Finn
Student
Balor
teacher.
actually trained JD. So
Which is
it'd be
Yeah.
which is
nice.
amazing that if we actually get them to actually work together and it doesn't feel like as long as it doesn't feel like a cop out and it
Yeah.
doesn't
Mhm.
feel like we forces them to be a team and forces them to win the titles again. Like as long as they actually have a good teamwork and JD actually executes, like, hey, JD, you are a good wrestler. I've seen a few matches of yours and you actually have, like, you was the Spade King or the Spade some Spade character or something like
He's wrestled
like of a
Gunther
deck of
before,
cards.
too.
So like
Yep.
just to see that, but then on the main roster you're like a comedic effect and you're like a person that gets squashed with a ring of the NFL and
Yeah.
stuff like
I mean, practically what JD does on his streams all the time, he just names him like JD McChicken, JD McNugget. He makes a whole bunch of like references to like different
Good.
McDonald's food items just because, like, obviously it's just the gimmick of his show. But
Yeah.
at the same time, the way you look at it, it's like, is he really being taken seriously?
Yeah, I
No.
hope for the best for
He's a
JD.
great wrestler, too.
Yeah, exactly. Like I hope for the best of JD and what we get in the future of Finn and JD as a team up. Hopefully, yo, I'm sorry, Damien, but you as a leader, you're slacking. Even Edge,
Finn's
even
better off as a
Edge.
leader.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I'd rather Finn like, yo,
I thought
champ.
that's what it was originally.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
I hope Finn takes the realms. It stays as Finn, JD, and with Dominic, if he wants to stay, boom, it stays. But hopefully Finn be like, yo, you're big man, you're champion, but I don't feel like you're champion with us. How about you get out of our team and you go solo and we stay as a Judgment Day still? Because that's what I want. Right now at the moment, Damien, you did a great promo work last week. You murder on Drew McIntyre in that promo work. You did amazing. But right now, you tonight, I didn't get no promo work from you. You was not even there. You was not
Mhm.
even saying all rise to the Judgment Day or all rise to you as a champion or welcome to
Now
Monday Night
rise
Raw.
to that. Oh
Yeah,
God.
like all rise to the Monday Night Raw to my show or something. Like my
Mhm.
dude, you're slacking. You're not entertaining me. I'm sorry, JD. I'm not JD. I'm sorry, Damien. I want you as a
Right.
champion. I want you to do good. I want you to be babyface. But right now, the booking or Triple H, whatever you're doing, or what the decisions you're choosing for him, for Damien right now, is not working for me. Because if you put Seth as the first champion and the what's the word the algorithm as the first champion of the belt, like you become the predecessor, like you
Mhm.
become the
Pretty much like the leading
Like,
force, like how
yeah,
Gunther was with the
yeah.
IC
exactly.
title.
And
You want
like
to make sure you carry that on.
carry that
Yep.
Yeah.
and I feel like Damien's not doing it. Like
Uh,
Seth literally came out every night
No.
saying welcome to Monday Night Raw, and I'm not
he's
getting that from
he's
Damien.
kind of
Like
proven
he's something.
McIntyre right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Almost like McIntyre's always right.
Yeah.
yeah, he
Again, get proven right time and time and time and time and time again. Now, I do want to ask really quick because we're still on the subject with the Judgment Day, and there was a match that happened and all that. I do want to ask about this. How are we feeling about the Awesome Truth as World Tag Team Champions?
My
I
shirt
don't
says it. So just go to sleep.
look. I'm gonna keep it simple, real quick. The Judgment Day versus Awesome Truth. Awesome Truth won. We
Mhm.
said it. Drop said it. Watkins said it. Myself said it back when they won at WrestleMania. They were not gonna be title reigns for long. We said it that it's gonna be at least for a month or two, a month and a half has passed. I know they're losing that title by next month of June or July, and we're getting new champions. They set up the New Cash Republic. They said we will see you soon, hopefully back
Mhm.
in the ring. Hopefully that happens sooner than later. Because as much as I like Awesome Truth, the Miz coming out with Truth, singing The comedy is still there. I like it. I'm enjoying it. But I know
Delivery's
it's
off.
not. I know it's not.
Oh
for
my god,
everyone.
the delivery's off. Oh, thank you, because it bothers me great. Like, oh, their entrance
So
is horrible.
so pretty
I
much like
hate it.
pretty much the best
Like,
way to sum it up is if you're a rapper, you want to make sure that you have a good flow with each
mhm.
The
verse that you
Miz,
put out.
the
Miz
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 did not
ruins
have
it.
a good
should not rap.
yeah.
The Miz should not rap. R-Truth should do his thing. R-Truth knows
Yeah.
how to do his thing. The Miz should just be the backup person,
He can honestly
not the
just
lead
say
person.
what's up. That's it.
Yeah.
Just say what's up after
But
our
see,
truth
that's
says
the
it.
thing. Even though when he tries to do that, he is always late with it, and he always sounds like crap with it. So you know what I would do? I would nix Miz altogether. Get that microphone for. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm saying
The
this
thing
about
about
Miz.
Miz is
No,
like,
but
Get that
yeah,
microphone away from him during that entrance, and just
exactly.
have our truth do it.
Miz is a great mic work. Even Daniel Bryan has
Yeah.
said it, and they don't like each other. Miz knows how to do great mic work, but Miz is not a fucking rapper. I don't know how to rap. I'm not gonna start rapping. Hell no. I'm gonna make myself look a fool. I could speak Spanish. I know how to speak Spanish. I would do that. But if R-Truth is the actual rapper of the group, let him do his shit. Why are you, Miz, getting the crowd? Like me, I watch it. I'm entertained. Am I enjoying it? No. I'm entertained. I'm laughing. Oh, funny. But I agree with Watkins. I agree with Drop 100%. The delivery is flat. It should definitely go to R-Truth. R-Truth is the person that has to make us be believable of this group being awesome. Yes, Miz, you are awesome. But who's the rapper of the group? That's R-Truth.
Yeah. And like the worst part too is like Miz isn't even rapping. He's just doing the what's up shit. And it's still just it's cringy and I don't like it. I want it to go away. Just leave. Just take the mic away from the Miz
The
during
great
the
thing is that
entrance.
I was
Please.
driving during the time, so I didn't even hear it because the internet was buffering. So all I heard was that, what's up? And then after the match started, I was like, cool, I missed that.
yeah.
So
You
what
didn't
got
miss
for me?
much. You didn't miss much.
So,
Yeah.
but my favorite segment, I know we didn't touch on it very much. My first segment is right before that. It was when our shoes told the Miz like, yeah, don't worry, I have Andre the Giant to be out there and defend us. And Archer was like, Archer, I don't know how to tell you this, but Andre the Giant passed away almost 30 years ago. He's like, yeah, I know, but we're good. And just walk away. And I love how the Miz is like, man, I wish we could have your help actually, And the Miz just and Archer just walks in like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
I thought I was a crazy one. I'm like, oh, well, I'm like, R-Truth is breaking the fourth wall. He's aware of what people think and he's acknowledging it.
Yeah.
I love that segment. Like that segment, I love.
Yeah, it brought a smile to my face, but I don't know. I'm getting a little tired of it. I'm kind of ready for an actual division.
What I would honestly do is just build the way that we see Gable going right now.
Yeah.
And since we had him talk to the Creeds, just have them win it. Build that build that heel faction. Because then you would have the Creeds plus Ivy Nile and Gable. It would just be perfect. Just build a division around them. They would actually make those titles mean something.
Yeah. Because like I mean they've Awesome Truth have had a fun run. It's been great, but I don't want it to overstay its welcome,
Yeah, because I understood they wanted to give Truth his Mania moment, but I feel like they should have just end ties with that already.
But like I said, it's gonna happen by next month for sure. By next month in June, we're gonna have them lose the title. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Like we did say back in WrestleMania when we did our coverage that they will be champion for at least the next month or two. I think one of us said that it was going to be a month. I believe I said it was going to be a month or two, and we are literally about to be the end of the second month. For June, hopefully it's going to be New Catch Republic. Drop said that he hopes it's Creed Brothers. Watkins got any hope for like a different team, or you have one of us team?
I could definitely see the Creed brothers being the ones that they build the division on because they are really good.
And they are an
Um,
actual team as well.
Yeah, that too. So
Plus, if you want to build up heel Gable even more, and you want him to look at the Alpha Academy and be like, "See, this is what you could have been if you listen to
yeah,
me."
Yeah.
There you go.
yep. But I mean, and that's the thing about just this match entirely. It's just it happened. It like nothing really stood out to me. I mean, there was one moment where it just kind of I thought back. I'm like, man, it's so weird that the Miz is using John Cena's
I was about to say that.
five knuckle
Yeah.
shuffle, and I'm
It's
just like,
like
that's kind of weird to me. But like, fine, I guess you're a baby face, but at the same time,
it also looks like
yeah.
he's having fun, so I was happy about that.
yeah,
Like it didn't feel forced. It didn't feel like the Miz was doing a move that he don't like from said person, said guy. So it looks like
yeah,
he's having fun with R-Truth. I'm glad the Miz has been putting 10 plus years already in this company, and at least he could enjoy the time he's having fun. So that's one thing I'm happy about. So let's talk about what we're not happy about with some
no,
with a certain people.
yeah, because we had a fun little promo segment. Speaking of our world champions and all that, our women's world champion
Oh,
Becky
I'm
Lynch
excited
came
for
out,
this.
and she had a typical Becky Lynch promo. That I mean, tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong, because
Oh, you're not wrong, but
like
I'm
yeah,
I'm in favor with her more in this
I am.
segment than
Yeah.
I was with Liv.
Yeah, because I mean, Becky's just saying, how much she sacrifices for the division, how she wants to leave the place better than when she came in, which she's been doing a good job with that. But she's interrupted by Liv, who's just like, I'm so on my revenge tour. It's like I was behind Liv at first, and then it was the moment that you mentioned drop. The moment where Becky's just like, all right, well, let's play along with this. When you're done with your revenge tour, what then? And then it was like that moment on, this segment just dragged. It was annoying, and I don't know how else I would fix it except just
Chucky Finster laugh.
yeah,
That's
like
basically Liv Morgan's laugh. I've seen a couple people say that
man.
online. Like,
Yeah, it's like because I get it. It's like you're being annoying because you're a heel. I get it.
yeah, I get
Okay,
it too.
fine, cool. But it's like this was getting the wrong kind of heat for me,
Yeah.
at least. It's like I don't like this going on. And which sucks because like I
No.
like Becky and I like Liv, but this shit was just what I just said. It was horse manure.
See, my problem with this is like I mentioned earlier, I had no issue with like Becky because I get what she was saying.
Hmm.
Because at least with Becky, I understood what she was saying. Even if we've heard things like this from Becky Lynch before, at
Yeah.
least I understand what she was saying, like the message that she was trying to deliver to the audience, the people at home and the people at the arena. At least I understood her. What I was expecting, I like how she gave the floor to Liv because she's like, okay, like you mentioned, like, okay, let's play into this. What happens after the Liv Revenge Tour? Which is a good
Hmm.
question to ask because it's like what people ask Cody before, like, okay, now that you completed your story, what's next? It's time to begin another chapter. Okay, good response. And we've seen Cody do that.
Hmm.
With Liv, she didn't really answer Becky's question at all. She was
No.
basically just walking around it. She was saying stuff that didn't really make any sense, saying, "Oh, Becky, you're delusional. You're this, you're that." And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like, is this high school? Or are we like getting into arguments with
My
people in the middle of the hallway or something? And we don't really know how to give a proper response back or whatever. And it's not me
Hmm.
hating on Liv or anything. It's just Liv came off like really awkward in this
Yeah.
segment, and I couldn't really understand like what she was trying to deliver in this very moment.
I
So it
I agree, and
Hmm.
I'm a Liv fan. For anybody here watching, I'm a Liv fan, and I'm a Becky fan. Man, even Walker's got a hat that represents the man. However, the thing I'm disappointed is that Liv has told the audience of hers that she took acting classes of how to improve her monologue and how to improve her promo work in the past 6-8 months when she was out back last year. So the thing I'm disappointed in this promo work tonight, was it her fault or was it the writing that was given to her that she had to work around it? So that's the thing that I question, because her promo work of tonight was the weakest promo work that we have gotten over the past couple months when it involves Liv. This promo work was definitely the weakest. And again, that's why I have to say, like, was this her or was this the writing? And at the end of the day, even if it was the writing, even if you are a good actor, you could still make the writing look good because you are acting it and you're executing it right. So Liv either choke in the moment of where she was at, maybe she was too far from Becky, maybe the spotlight or whatever, the camera angle, something happened for her to choke. Because I agree with Drop, he even said it in our group chat, saying that, hey, I felt like Liv choking this. And rewatching it earlier before we started live, I felt like she did. And I feel bad because I know, even from watching her most recent interview, she loves being in WWE. She puts the effort. She puts the work. She wants to succeed in this company. She wants to succeed in her career in pro wrestling. She never thought that she would be here because she's the hugest fan of this and she wants this to succeed. However, if you want this to succeed, Liv, you got to put a bit more on time and you cannot let yourself choke. Hey, if this is a one-time thing, cool, no worries. Get yourself back on your feet. See where you fuck up this past night. See what you did wrong and get back on it better next week. Because, my girl, if you're going to win this Saturday, then you got to get your shit together.
Yeah, you got to seem like believable where people are like with you for the ride.
Exactly. And if you're this revenge tour, then girl, treat it like a tour. Literally said, hey, my revenge tour don't mean it ended. My revenge happened. I'm going to continue touring around the world and show why I'm dominant. That literally just came out my ass and it made it work. It made it make sense.
Yeah, exactly. That see that if we had something like that, I would have been satisfied. And I feel like if this ends up,
thank you. See, I'm good at promos.
and I feel like if this has to do with the writing team in the back, you could have delivered like a better response than that, because it didn't really make sense. Look, that's why it just felt so off.
Yeah,
and sometimes also, take this with a grain of salt. Also, it has been said that sometimes Becky goes off script. Even if she does went off script during this promo work, Liv, you gotta think on your feet. Even if Becky wasn't supposed to ask you what happens next, you can't just choke. You gotta let it. You gotta think on your feet. Like, okay, Becky just asked me what's next. What can I do? What can I say? This was not on the script that we decided to talk about.
Sometimes it's like improv. They like
exactly.
Improv.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they want to.
Sometimes it's just bullet points that they have to hit.
Exactly. Yeah. I forgot who said it. Freddie Prinze Jr., who was also a writer back in the 30 Days in WWE, he even said it, that for you to know how to do promo, you gotta take acting classes. Even Cody Rhodes has said it, that if you want to be good at promo work, you gotta take acting classes, because you gotta know how to do improv and you gotta know how to think on your feet. And that is how it is when it comes to the audience. You gotta read it. That's why The Rock has always been so good. That's why John Cena freaking made Roman. I'm even getting goosebumps even talking about the time
the rattlesnake.
John Cena made Roman Reigns choke and told him that, hey man, there's a promo, you gotta be on it. And that wasn't part of the script. That was actually telling Roman, like, you gotta be better at this. Like, I cannot leave my job and go Hollywood if you're not good at this. You gotta be better and live. If John Cena was there, he will smoke your ass so quicker where you would not come back until like months later.
Yeah. Wow. But I don't know that this did something to build for their match on Saturday. It did something.
It still makes me question who's gonna be winning now, because if Liv is not having an idea what happens next, it's like, hey, you're setting things up with Lyra, but you're not executing what's happening or what's going on. So it's like, yo, Liv, if you don't know what's going on, if the writing team don't know what's going on, you already had a whole roster that could go against you, and you're not picking it up. Like, come on, like, Liv, get your shit together, or the writing team, get your shit together.
Yeah.
Somebody gotta get their shit together. That's all.
Yeah.
That's
Please
my last words.
Oh, yeah,
get those
please.
pooper scoopers together so we can get this shit
I
out of
smell
here.
a pooper scooper. Or our next
Oh
segment.
no. Uh-oh. maybe a couple, because hey, let's do a quick fire round of some stories that are being seeded plants and all that. So Xavier Woods is apparently cleared, and Karrion Kross meets up with him in the trainer's room. Do we want to see Karrion Kross versus Xavier Woods?
See, I'm starting to think it's the same thing I spoke about last Monday with Kofi,
Mm-hmm.
where he's trying to get into their heads. Like I'm not sure if you saw me speak about this, Vash, but I was pretty much saying I don't know if you recall when Cross tried making like these little prophecies of like, okay, this is what's gonna happen to so and so if they head down this direction, and then you see what happened with AJ, you saw what happened with Shinsuke, and you saw what happened with McIntyre
And with
like
Ray as well.
Yeah, it's like he had like these little, I forgot what those cards are called, but he pretty much had like a card, and it was supposed to showcase what this person could turn into if they decide to go down that direction. I feel like the exact same thing is happening with Xavier Woods and Kofi right now, that he's trying to get into both of their heads.
Okay. I mean, yeah, we'll have to wait and see with that one, I guess, because like right now we're in like the very early stages, just him planting these seeds everywhere. But
Yeah,
hopefully he does something to push Karrion Kross forward so he can actually be kind of interesting.
For Karrion Kross,
Like,
I'm a bit confused, and like I'm wondering what's going on with them, the Archers of Pain and Scarlet and everything. Like, cool, Karrion Kross, you're coming out of nowhere, you're checking on Xavier. Kofi wants to also try to get into the tag team division back of Xavier being, medically clear and everything. But then Karrion wants to go one-on-one with Xavier. So I'm a bit confused of what they're setting up with. Like Watkins said, he was never a big fan of Karrion Kross back in WrestleMania, where he didn't care for them winning against the Pride. So I'm really curious to see what they do with Karrion Kross moving forward, because I like Karrion Kross. He reminds me of the dark side of the QR codes, Uncle Rowdy, and these other certain elements of dark people coming up. Like the Boogeyman, like all these type of dark characters that I really like, but we're not getting enough execution of them very well. So hopefully with Karrion Kross, it could get executed well. That's my hope.
Yeah.
So again, that seed been planning and all that. Another seed that was planted was Kaiser, good old Ludwig Kaiser, just hating Sheamus.
Yeah, like just 2 weeks in a row.
Man,
just literally just saying like, all right, this is my promo time. I'm gonna have 2 minutes and just to shit on Sheamus, even though he's not here at work. I'm gonna just shit on him until he comes back this week and just see me eye to eye. Like,
I kid you not, I thought he was gonna show up.
Same, I was like,
I thought so too.
Like I'm just waiting for him to show up. Like I thought he was gonna show up last week. He didn't. I thought he was gonna show up this week, because Sheamus just the kind of guy who just gets in your face.
Yeah, like just come up to the mic and be like, hey, yo, fella, what you got a problem with me, man?
Yeah,
I'm just waiting for that.
I can't wait for that. I hope it happens next week.
I'm happy for this though. I do want to say this is because it shows that Ludwig, they're trying to push him as a solo, even with Imperium, and they're trying to push a story with Ludwig versus with Sheamus. So I'm very happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that should be fun. And then, after all this, Drew just stops by, just like, oh, hello, I'm here. Why am I here? I don't know. I'm injured, but I was invited here to watch Jey Uso win. Maybe. I don't know. That part was just weird. But again, I guess we got to keep Drew on the program at least to kind of push forward him versus Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle. But yeah, so just a quick little fire round of fun stories and fun goodness and all this. But we got one more match to talk about. One more fun goodness match of all those
Oh,
fun amazingness. That's right. We have yet another fatal 4-way tag team match to
A
find new
random
number one
ladies in the
contenders.
team except one actual team.
Well, it's not only just that, because last week didn't we just get a
num num num.
tag team fatal 4-way number one contenders match?
Mm-hmm.
And
I do
haven't
not
we
remember.
gotten? And I feel like we've been getting them a lot in recent memory too. Like I don't know, and maybe I'm just crazy, but it's just like, is this the only way, Triple H, that you can come up with your number one contenders for your tag titles? This is the only way.
Look, I'm happy that, guys, spoiler, I don't know if you saw Raw, but Shayna Blazer and Zoe Stark won. So I'm very happy
Mhm.
about that. They're the most obvious winner. The other one that I was expected to see was Katana Chance and Kaden Carter because they're an actual team. So I thought the actual team will actually win. But then, by the way, big shout out to see Sonya Deville.
Oh,
That's
right?
that was
Like,
amazing to see. I
I
was
was
smiling.
not
I'm like,
expecting her.
girl, have not seen you in a couple of months. Where you been?
Yeah.
Obviously, I know where she been. You know, if you don't follow her on IG, girl's been doing her side quests. Very happy for her. Congrats on her side quest that she's been
Mhm.
doing. But really curious to see what she wants to talk to Zoe and Shayna about. Maybe managing them. Maybe telling Zoe like,
That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm hoping for like Zoe. I believe some things in you should do better. Hopefully,
Mhm.
girl manages Zoe like, yo, I believe this what you should do. People are not loving you, and I'm happy with their outfits. I love their outfits today, like the little yellow and black that they had going on there. Really dope.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But I mean, again, like we had 4 teams here. We had Maxine Dupree, and Ivy Nile. We had Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, Katana Chance, and Ken Carter, and Dakota Kai and Kyrie Sane for this match. Now, I do want to point out too, with Ivy Nile and Maxine Dupree coming out, and I made a note of this too. Ivy Nile did not look too happy walking out. I don't remember if that's like just her shtick of her entrance, but she seemed a lot more peeved off than usual, I guess.
Maybe because it knew they wasn't winning, so Ivy wasn't happy about that,
I
or
mean,
Maybe.
maybe.
maybe she's starting to catch on with what Gable's saying about Maxine.
That's what I'm thinking. See,
But
there's that wavelength right there.
But Maxine was doing good in this match though. Like she actually did
Yeah.
a couple of sweet moves,
To to
even though she did the caterpillar.
to us maybe, but you think Ivy cares?
True, because
Nah.
they did not get the win, so that did
Yep.
not matter. You're right.
And she would think, oh, I thought I'm paired up to somebody that could help me advance and actually
Mhm.
get title opportunities and stuff like that. But now that she's looking at because she's been with Maxine for quite some time now.
Yeah, a couple of
Yeah.
months now. Yeah,
But looking at like how she is now and reflecting back about what Gable said, I'm thinking she's starting to catch on.
Mhm. Yeah, so she'll shortly, join the creeds in all of this,
Mhm.
uh, going with Chad Gable and all that. But I mean, the match itself, I mean, it was fine. Like again, Maxine pretty much owned the match.
and it
Like
will
she was.
like this
Go ahead.
bothers me as well. Like, how do we have an actual team of Katana Chance, Caitlyn Carter? We have also Abba Fire and Asla Dawn, actual tag team players, but not being involved in this match. Why do we have, Dakota Kai or Carrie Zane or Abina Maxine or Shayna Blazer and Zoe Stark? Why can't we have Katana Chance and Caitlyn Carter
Mhm.
versus, Isla Dawn and Abba Fire, like actual teams that are an actual tag team players
Right.
in that tag team division, not just individual opponents. Put them as a team and then you throw them in a tag team division. Like I hate it. That's how it is, but that's not how it should be. When we have an actual team dynamic, that's how it should be played.
Right. Yep. But I mean, it was a match. Like I don't have anything else for
I don't
it.
either.
It's just like because I think my biggest point with it is just like we just got this with the men last week to name a number one contender, and like we're getting the same kind of match for the women's tag teams, and it's like, are we going to do this all the time when we need a number one contender? Does that
I
mean
hope
like
not.
these four teams are just going to be trading off wins then? Because that kind of makes it, I don't know, to me that kind of makes it seem cheap.
I hope not.
I don't
Hope like we spoke about this past Friday. Hopefully, after this King and Queen of the Ring, we find much better ways to show the team winning and showing off their division, and not just a simple like a fatal four way just to get the number one contender. Hopefully, it's like a build up, like another type
Yeah.
of tournament happen. Like, hey, there's a tournament that happened this week and next week, and then we could get a tournament happen, like a little small tournament. Like it doesn't have to be like a 4-week tournament, a 3-week tournament. It could just be a 2-week tournament of who becomes the number one contender.
Yeah. Or like not only that, it's just like, see, this was my whole big thing about just having one tag title that just floated, because like when they weren't being defended, like okay, let's say Raw was like the show that was going to have the feature of the tag team titles. On SmackDown, with your tag team division, you could do just stories with them, like, and stories that mainly didn't have to deal with the title, because like not only are you utilizing your tag teams, you're making us care about your tag teams by putting them in these storylines where it's just like you want to watch them succeed, and that kind of builds up the teams. It builds up your care for the teams, your own what's the investment of these teams and all that. So, but that's just probably a nitpick from me at least. So, because then like you don't run into these instances where it's just like, okay, well, we got to get X amount of people their TV time, and we got to find number one contenders match. Fatal four way again. It's like, Drop, you might remember this. Remember the time in WWE when all we were getting were fatal five ways?
Yep.
We're leaning towards that, where it's just like this is the only way I guess they can figure out how to solve things. It's like, well, you could try something different, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Another thing I was gonna factor in with this is I also don't really care about the women's tag titles that much. So that's another thing I'm gonna throw in there too, where I don't really care about number one contender matches for those titles, because they never gave me a real reason to care about that title, because that title is just lifeless. It's just there. And I already know who has those titles, and all it is to them is just a good Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, again, we were able to find our new number one contenders in Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark. Again, I'm excited and happy that they are getting their shot. Granted, they're going to be fed to Bianca and Jade, but I mean, it's a different pairing than Damage Control.
It's going to be a good match. That's all.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And I mean, overall with Raw, I mean, me personally, I thought it was an all right show. Like, yeah, there were a few moments where it was like, oh, just a little bump in the road and all that, but like, I felt like overall it was fine, and I'm glad we're back in Yeet Central, back with Yeet Burrow, and we're gonna get all of our yeet and cook it on the grill. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome, and Gunther's gonna go on to win the whole King of the Ring. And you know what? My other prediction too, early prediction for the women's side, give it to Lyra. Fudge it. I don't care. Give it to her. She impressed me a lot, especially tonight. She impressed me enough to be like, just give it to her.
If she does,
she's earned it.
If she does, I mean, that'd be great, especially if you want to build in that whole Liv feud. If Liv's eventually going to be Becky. She has to in order
She has to
for
now for it
that,
to actually mean something.
and also because of the Rhea story. So if you want to do something with that, cool.
But I agree with Watkins. Raw
Mhm.
was a solid show. Was it great?
Mm.
No. But was it good? Yes. Could have been better? Yes. But the most entertaining, the highlight for me of tonight, and Braun Breaker just throwing down
Mm.
Kale Dixon. Yes, that's his name. Kale Dixon. He got
Yeah.
paid for his job tonight. He went to the ambulance after that. He went home and put a little nice ass pack on his body. He deserved it. Interesting to see a Kaiser and Sheamus feud in the future.
Mhm.
I feel bad for the Fatal 4-Way that I did not care for, but dope to see for the
Mm.
8 ladies happening. Sonya Deville, happy to see, very happy to see her back. Please manage Zoe Stark. Really want her to succeed. Please, for the name of God.
Mhm.
And for the King and Queen of the Ring, yo, my man Gunther, you won. You might be the King General coming up next Saturday. On my boy, the 14-time champion. And him just spitting his venom out there. He might become the king as well. Who knows? It's a 50-50 chance. Do I care for the ring general or Randy? As a fan, I want Randy because I grew up with
Mhm.
Randy. I want him to add an extra little nugget on his on on his resume. But if it's
Mhm.
Gunther, hey man, I don't mind it. You have proven to us, myself, and the audience that you know what you're doing and you know how you're entertaining us. And lastly, but least, Lyra, I don't mind if you get the Queen of the Ring. This is you
Yeah.
shooting to the moon. A big shout out to um the guy that got let go a couple of weeks ago that kept saying that straight to the moon. So hey, Lyra
Oh.
right there. If you win it, you got shot to the moon because they believe in you and you know what you're doing. But Nia Jax win it, it makes sense. She is the irresistible force that cannot be reckoned with. So I totally get it. Whoever of these two wins. If Bianca wins, all right, cool. You an extra EST. You're the queen of the EST. And other than that, Chad Gable, F you.
Yeah.
And so give him my overall thoughts on this. Honestly, I thought it was a solid show. It did what it needed to do. Lyra and Gunther were the best outcomes to come out of the semifinals tonight, so it makes sense that they decided to head with both of them.
Yep.
And I'm just overall looking forward to this pay-per-view. I just want to see some new stories after the event because I feel like mainly these past couple weeks has just been building up to the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring, which makes sense. So
Mhm.
I'm just expecting things to really start cooking up once we get into summer season and once we get close to Clash of the Castle. I feel like then that's when everything's going to start factoring in.
Yep. Nah, I agree with that. But hey, why don't you guys let us know down in the chat or in the comments down below what you thought of Raw on this wonderful occasion and all that. And while you're checking things out there, Vash, let the people know what they can find in that wonderful, awesome description box we have.
Chat, look at this. Look at this. If you listen to us on the podcast side, or the YouTube side, or the Twitch side, if you haven't known it yet and already, if you didn't listen to me at the 25, 27 mark of what I said, that means you were not paying attention. You were not doing your job and listening to what we were saying, what I was saying. It means follow us on Twitch, YouTube, follow us and subscribe to us. Go on social media, AniMa W3 Studio, Watkins MD, drop this box, Legend D Vash, everywhere of all the social media outlets are down below in the description on the YouTube side and on the future podcast side. And we appreciate all your support. Thank you for watching. But you know what you gotta do? Comment the fuck on the video so we can know your opinion on how we're doing the show. Because if you don't tell us, we don't know if we're doing good or not. We see the views, they're there, but we would like
Mhm.
to get more. We would like to get more feedback. So do your fucking job and thank you.
Yes, and as Vash was saying, thank you for taking time out of your day to listen to the Weebs of the Ring podcast. If you enjoyed what we had to say, why not do just exactly what Vash said? We are known as AniMa W3 Studio on all social media platforms, but just remember that's we with a 3. Also, like Vash said, use that hashtag Weebs of the Ring to interact with us about anything regarding wrestling before, during, or after our shows. Feedback is always appreciated as we are nothing without you tuning in. Weebs of the Ring is presented by AniMa W3 Studio. Thanks to our production team of Vash, Watkins, Drop This Box, Rome, and Jokester, as well as special thanks to JB and Abe. So thank you once again for joining us, and remember, no stunt grannies were harmed in the recording of this podcast. Have a great, wonderful night, morning, day to all of you wonderful people out there.